And now, with the magic of television, camera work, I'm going to hand over to the one and only Matthew Kenworthy Gomes. Hello, Matthew.
Hey, Pudge and Els. I'm still really confused on the whole question for the nation and the four-parter element.
Yeah, we've been questioning that a little bit ourselves. But hey ho, we'll let the nation decide.
It's either a yes or a no.
Yeah, yes, much easier, much easier. Hello and welcome to Chaos TV and the Cornwall Pride Show. So good afternoon and welcome back after what has been an incredible couple of months for Cornwall Pride and for Cornwall. And actually we're going to have a recap of what's happened over June, July and August with Cornwall Pride Bus Tour, the Rainbowfest. It's also Black History Month and we supported an incredible group which is Black Voices Cornwall in their Cornwall cultural event back in August as well. And actually here to help me go through all of this is Joyte Brown, the community leader from Black Voices Cornwall. Hello Joyte.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Good.
I'm sure I saw you on Friday.
You may have seen me on the dance floor. I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah, the best. I had such a good time. It was such a fantastic night. Really good fun.
It was really, really good. And actually, you've got a much nicer backdrop than me. Where are you?
I'm at the museum, Truro.
Oh, fantastic!
I thought I'd try and look posh.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. So how have the last couple of months been for you, Joyte?
Yeah, they've been really good. Thank you very much. Super busy. We had our cultural celebration of culture event back in August, which was a really great success. Really good turnout, and hopefully people had a good takeaway there of a little bit more exposure to some of the sort of different cultural experiences that you can have or find in Cornwall. So yeah, we were really pleased with that, and it was fantastic to have your support there as well. Particularly, everyone's still talking about your beautiful pride wings that you bought, you know, the ones that you made. I think you should go to business with those. But yeah, it was really fantastic. We've had lots of more people sign up for our race charter, which is what's really important to us, is to make sure that we're engaging with the community and getting the community on board with making Cornwall an actively anti-racist county. So really pleased about that as well. And yeah.
Thank you so much. We're going to go through loads more, and just a bit of a recap to start off with. So Cornwall Pride, with the support of Black Voices Cornwall and loads of other incredible community groups, we're here to kind of have those conversations, bringing an understanding of intersectionality to the forefront of communities in Cornwall. And actually, before we have those conversations, let's take a little bit of a kind of a recap, a reminder of what Cornwall Pride's bus tour looked like.
Hello, I'm Perrin, obviously you know me, and would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Nathaniel Gomes, or Kenworthy Gomes as I should say.
Yeah, make sure you get that one right. Nathaniel, what is so important about this bus tour, and why a bus tour in particular?
It came up as a bit of a random idea 3.5 years ago. Me and Matthew were talking about Pride being in one location, and there had been sort of a lot of uproar where we took Pride from Truro to Newquay. With Cornwall being such a large area and it's so difficult to transport between variable different places, and especially for the younger community, our public transport isn't the greatest. You know, we do as best as we can, but it's still really challenged with tourism, etc. So having us take the Pride event to smaller communities around the Duchy means that people that don't necessarily get a touch of pride or a sense of pride, you know, they feel connected and they feel like it's, you know, we've thought about them. So I think what we've done with the bus tour is broaden people's mindsets and given them more of an understanding of different sexualities, genders, etc. And we've certainly seen in the last 3 years a much better and a much more improved Duchy in relation to equality and diversity.
Love who you want to love!
Love who you want to love!
Be who you want to be!
Yeah, so those 2 days were a little bit of a whirlwind, and massive thank you to all of the volunteers and organisations that supported the build-up, the community engagement across 20 different destinations. It literally is the only Pride tour like that anywhere in the world. Joyte, kind of coming from different community groups, why do you think it's really important to get out to our different communities?
I think it's really important to reach out because, as we were saying, it's such an isolated, or it can be such an isolated area in Cornwall, particularly with the public transport, people not being able to get around, particularly for young people. It's good for us to go to them. It's good for us to reach out to people and say, we're here and you can come to us, but we can also come to you. For some reason, there's a bike rally going past. But we can also come to you. I know certainly as a young person, I felt particularly isolated. I didn't see a lot of other people that looked like me. And it really took for the George Floyd protest for me to be stood in an area where there were a lot more people who were people of colour, and that really changed my view of Cornwall and of where my place was in Cornwall, and of my sense of belonging, I think. So it's important for us to go out and get out there and represent people in their local areas.
And it's really important, isn't it, for us to have a look at this conversation together, because actually we do live in such a rural and isolated area that finding people that are like us, that have cultural understandings, that have had the challenges that we have had within the LGBTQ plus community and through our communities across our different heritages. How do you think finding and spending time with people has helped the mental well-being of people?
I think it's about feeling heard. I think it's about understanding that people want to hear your voice. It's about making sure that people have the time to consider and express their feelings, that's received and listened to. But also it's an opportunity for discussion. We all have an understanding of ourselves, but it's important for us to have an understanding of others and their sense of self, so that we can find that common ground, so that we can connect and so that we can support each other. So I think overall it's just important to make sure that we're keeping dialogue open, and that we're keeping communication as free and as welcoming as possible for people, because we've all got something in common somewhere along the line. We just have to take the time to find out what that is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually kind of thinking back to the bus tour as well, that whilst growing up in Cornwall, how would you have responded with something like that coming to your town? What would it felt like?
I think it would have completely changed the way I felt about myself and my sense of belonging within, I grew up in a very small village in St Agnes, and to have seen a bus stuffed full of culture, stuffed full of the culture of my heritage, arrive on my doorstep, I think would have made me feel so at home. And I think it would have given me an opportunity to say, oh, hey, I'm here, can I jump on that bus too? And then, then I'm part of a community. So I think it's really important, and I think it's an incredible opportunity.
So together we're changing the landscape of Cornwall, opening these conversations, which has been incredible. So right after the bus tour in July, you, as Black Voices Cornwall, put on a cultural celebrating culture in Cornwall in Truro towards the end of August, and the very next week was Rainbowfest in Newquay. Joyte, you haven't seen this video, so it'll be great for you to have a look at this. So let's have a look at the cultural event through the incredible song of Angelina Morrison with Mad Haired Mod of Bedlam.
I am Moll Brown of London town, and I'm 20 years and 2 boys. I am as black might be, and I'm London through and through, boys. When I was born one winter's morn, the bells of Bow did sound, boys. But poor cheeking of a policeman, I in Bedlam now lie bound, jolly boys. In Bedlam I do lie bound. I was renowned for miles around, for my thick raven locks and my beauty, until my life was crushed in the fist of a peeler that's new on duty. I pile my hair with greatest care, in coils and in tucks and in coils, boys. with ivory combs and with glass beads adorned, and perfumed with such fragrant oils, jolly boys, and perfumed with such fragrant oils. Oh, I'm all with me mad, mad hair. Oh, they say I is mad as a mad March hare. That day I walked so high and proud in the morn when the streets are empty. Black wench, says a voice, it's you I'll have, and I'll warn ye not to tempt me. He grabbed me by my middle so small, shoved me into a doorway. Oh, I kicked and I bit and I hollered full sore, but I could not get away, jolly boys. No, I could not get away. Oh, I'm all with me mad, mad hair. Oh, they say I is mad as a mad March hare. That policeman, he was angered so cruel, for I'd scratched at his face till it bled some. He says I is mad and dangerous too, and he marches me straight to Bedlam. Now I have heard it said and sung that Bedlam boys, they are bonny, but my world is as small as the coldest cell wall, and the straps they have tied upon me, jolly boys, and the straps they have tied upon me. Oh, I'm all with me mad, mad hair. Oh, they say I is mad as a mad March hare.
Just an incredible voice. That was Angelina Morrison at the cultural event, Culture Celebrating with Black Voices Cornwall. Just that story embedded with the song is incredible. Joyte, you with us? Okay, so just going to try and find Joyte again. And actually, it's really important to recognise that it is Black History Month as well. And we're wanting to speak to Joyte and speak to Black Voices Cornwall to have a look at those conversations around celebrating history, celebrating culture, whilst also understanding the challenges of our history and those challenges of cultural as well. So we're just going to wait for Joyte to come back. You're here.
Oh, I'm kind of here. I'm so sorry. I'm on the Wi-Fi and everything. This is a nightmare.
Oh, fantastic. Right. Okay, so we can hear you. So
you can hear me. That's a start.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So kind of thinking about the cultural event, what was it like for you?
It was really exciting. It was a little bit nerve-wracking. So I'm still getting chills from Angeline because she's just incredible. It was really exciting. We hadn't, that was our first event that we'd run as Black Voices Cornwall. And you don't know how things are going to be received, I suppose, or, you know, the uptake. But Abby Hutchinson, who's the events director, did a fantastic job in pulling together with Cornwall Council, who provided us with a lot of support in terms of staging, etc. And Marcus Alain, who publicised the event as well. So we ended up having a great turnout. We had fantastic support from organisations such as yourself, but also from, you know, the musicians who came to pay, and everybody did that voluntarily, and very much, you know, we thank everybody very much for that. It was exciting to see that culture. It was exciting to see people enjoying it. And we hope that it was educational for people. I certainly found it an interesting experience, really, being able to so openly celebrate my culture, I think. Not that I feel oppressed necessarily, but I don't think that it's something that I've been given the opportunity to do an awful lot. So,
yeah, absolutely. What do you think?
Yeah.
What was the best part of the event for you, yourself?
That would be me and you running around and you letting me try your wings on, but I don't think that's what you're asking. I think dancing. I think the dancing with everybody, seeing everybody getting up and dancing together was just so beautiful, and so celebratory. That, and also getting to eat some of the curry.
The curry was fantastic, wasn't it? It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I don't think I could pinpoint one single moment because it all just meant so much to all of us. It was one of those days where you get to the end of it and you go, wow, that just happened, and it felt great. So, yeah, magical.
And it is October. It is Black History Month, from all sorts of incredible cultural events and conversations around history happening in October. Why is it important?
This is about education, really. I think we've all come to identify that one of the major issues in terms of underrepresentation, a lack of understanding and continued racism is a lack of education and a lack of historical context. So it's really important that we dive into the history of our cultures, of our nations, of our histories in terms of where we came from, how we relate to the rest of the world. And that we pay a little bit of mind and respect to those who've come before us and the journeys that have been undertaken to get us to where we are today. I think when people have a greater understanding of the oppression of people of colour throughout history, and the role that racism has played throughout modern history and time, it gives people a greater understanding of the struggles that people face now, and it stops the kind of whataboutery, the people saying, well, it's all right now, so I don't want to hear about it anymore, because it's not completely all right now. There is still a lot of work to do, and we need to reach out to the younger people in particular and ensure that moving forward they have as much information, as much access to culture of all forms, and as much of an understanding of the context of their history as possible, so that they can be well-informed individuals and make the right choices.
Incredible, thank you for that, Joyte. Are there any event? I know there's an Inspiring Women's event happening, I think within the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, there is. Yes, that's correct. There are actually quite a few events going on. One I would recommend everybody do if they would like to find out more about the cultural events that are going on for Black History Month is to check out our Facebook page. So we're Black Voices Cornwall. We've also got a website which is www.blackvoicescornwall.org, and we have an Instagram as well, and that has all of the updates. We like to share all of the events and information that are coming up with that, so you can get yourself involved, and it would be wonderful to see as many people at these events as possible.
If they've got any questions as well, can they fire them across to you as well? So any questions? It's Hate Crime Awareness Week next week as well. So really important to have those conversations around any particular challenges with racial discrimination, isn't it?
It really is. From Brexit, if I'm honest, and throughout the pandemic, unfortunately, there has been a rise in hate crime, which I'm sure you're aware of as well. But that does affect the Black community, and so it's really important that we can, try and build some solidarity around people and break down those divisive information that's out there that's causing people to be hateful, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes. There's more of a conversation for us to have next week around hate crime, but I think something to recognise before we get there potentially is knowing that it's disproportionately targeted as racial discriminations and racial hate crime. Almost 90% of all hate crime is racial. That's not to say that all hate crime is, we need to make awareness and report it across the LGBTQ plus community, disability, misogyny, and hate crime, which is directly personal as well, isn't it?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
We'll definitely speak more about that next week.
Yes, so don't get me started, Matthew. You know what I'm like, I'll start ranting. Yes, if people do want to reach out and if they've got any questions, we absolutely welcome them. There's info@blackvoicescornwall.org. You can DM us on any of our social media, or you can reach out to me specifically. I'm community@blackvoicescornwall.org, and my name is Joyte Brown. So feel free to shoot me a line if you've got any questions or concerns.
Joyte, I'll let you into a little secret before we go on to Rainbowfest 2021. Those rainbow, we didn't make the rainbow wings.
Oh, you didn't?
No. They were actually made, strangely, in the Ukraine, where it's not quite. Well, it's legal, but it's not legal to be LGBTQ+. So to have those imported from the Ukraine was very, very special, and that was about 4 years ago now.
Well, in that case, massive respect to those who made them, and you could have got away with that. I would have always thought it was you who hadn't done, to be honest, to a fault. But yeah, that is really special. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, to have made those almost in secret and obviously export those across to the UK is something really special for the people that have made them. To me,
a little bit of international freedom fighting. I'm down with that.
Absolutely. So something happened at the end of August as well. Something to do with Rainbowfest 2021. It happened in Newquay over August bank holiday weekend. If you weren't there, why? And if you were, let's remind ourselves of how amazing those 3 days were.
I got my red dress on tonight, dancing in the dark and the pale moonlight. Got my hair up real big, beauty in style, high heels on, feeling alive. Oh my God, I feel it in the air, till it for wires above, sizzling like it's there, honey, I am on fire. Feel it everywhere, nothing scares me anymore. Kiss me out before it goes. Summertime sadness, I just wanted you to know, baby, you're the best. I got that summertime sadness, summertime sadness. I got that summertime sadness. Oh, 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 oh. I got that summertime sadness. Oh, 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 oh. Everyone, up and down! I'm feeling electric tonight, cruising down the coast, going about 99. Got my bad baby by my heavenly side. I know if I go, I'll die happy tonight. Oh my God, I feel it in the air, telephone wires above, sizzling like a stair, honey, I am on fire. Feel it everywhere, nothing scares me anymore. Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness, I just wanted you to know, baby, you're the best. I got that summertime sadness, summertime sadness. Got that summertime sadness. Oh, 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 oh. Got that summertime sadness, summertime sadness. Got that summertime. Oh, 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 I got that summertime. Got that summertime sadness. Summertime sadness. Got that summertime sadness. Oh, oh, got that summertime. One more time. Got that summertime you very much, Cornwall Newquay Pride, for having me this year. It's been a dream. I love you all. Keep being you. And this.
Yeah, those 3 days were what happened.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely amazing. I get chills watching that as well. Lovely.
Yeah, from all that's happened over the last 18 months, with the challenges of isolation, lockdown, and kind of keeping away communities, to be able to bring people back together across the cultural event and Cornwall Pride. How important is it to have these face-to-face connections again?
It's incredibly important. You know, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and we thrive on connection. We need connection with each other. And particularly when you're in a marginalised community, I you know, more so than ever, because those people that we're connecting with are the families that we choose, that we identify with, who can provide us with the emotional, mental support that we need to cope in a world that isn't completely always prepared or accepting of us, or doesn't always recognise our beauty. So I think it's incredibly important to be able to hug and look at in the eye and laugh with people who see you in your full sense.
And kind of with this connections and being able to go out, we were saying that we went out on Friday, which was amazing because we Cornwall Pride, so there's a particular club which is supporting Cornwall Pride, raising funds, and we're able to go along to that and kind of let our hair down, which is incredible. There's other social meetings which have been happening with Transparent's Presence, Safe Haven, Intercom Trust and Yay. Only in a week and a bit's time there's an art exhibition in Newlyn Art Exchange, which is called Scene, with the Dakota Group and Sharp, and there's just so much going on. It's kind of someone's finally pressed the button and everyone's gone, yes! Yeah. We can go out and see people. Yeah,
it's so true. The floodgates of love are reopened and we are all rushing through it, and I myself personally have no problem with that at all. Bring on the dance floor, bring on the hugs, bring on the reconnecting, I say.
Yeah, and I think one of the most amazing things that we've discovered over the last 18 months is the connections between Cornwall Pride and Black Voices Cornwall and all marginalised groups. And I think one of the things that some people have asked us is actually, hang on a minute, isn't Pride just about the LGBTQ plus community? And I think one of the things that we forget is Pride started 50 years ago, in fact 50 years ago next year, in London in the UK, and it was always about standing in solidarity, and we all, as marginalised groups, if we stand together, our voices are louder, surely.
Precisely that. Why on earth wouldn't we, as people who understand and feel marginalisation, not turn to our brothers and sisters who are facing the same oppression and not hold their hand and say, we're here with you and we're going to raise our voices with you. We all know that a lot of the time policy and government is a case of pressure and putting pressure on and a bit of a popularity contest. So let's make up those numbers, let's back each other up, let's make our voices as loud as possible and stand together, certainly.
Well, perfect example recently is Wales have said that they're going to introduce Black history as mandatory within the curriculum. And just Scotland have just put in LGBTQ plus history as mandatory within their curriculum, which is great for Scotland and Wales to independently do this. Well, shouldn't this happen everywhere?
Everywhere. I don't want to become too rudely political, but I have my opinions about the current government, and I don't think that they're particularly supportive of any of the marginalised communities. I think there's a lot of lip service that's being paid, and I think this is about appealing to a particular demographic who don't feel comfortable with creating a more diverse and inclusive society. In fact, I did just share my opinions. There you go. I said it.
Well, and increasingly so because look, they haven't banned conversion therapy, and they're still delaying the conversation around gender recognition and the transgender rights, which is just awful for delaying and conversations, which is just, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the same kind of narrative that's always been, and it's a, you know, it's a desire to keep things as they were. I understand that Conservatives conserve, but I do think that there should be some scope for movement. What to say about it? I think the only thing that we can do as communities is to come together, to work together, to use everything that we have in our power as communities to put pressure on, to ensure that we, you know, people realise we're not going anywhere, and to hold people accountable for the horrific outcomes of continued oppression.
Yeah, and the very interesting way to think about it as well, potentially, is whilst we're having these really tough conversations and raising awareness and bringing more people to the table, somehow we're able to come together, and when we come together, we're bringing cultural together, we're bringing music together, we're bringing lives together, and we're talking about love in a way that just means actually we are who we are. Let's enjoy life.
And that's the dream, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, is that we all just get to walk down the street saying, "Hey, I am who I am, and like me or lump me, love me or hate me, but for the right reasons, please, not just because of the colour of my skin or whom I choose to, or whom I love." Actually, we all have a right on this planet. We're all born the same, and we all have a right. And until that day where we don't feel that we have to be different or define ourselves by the random comings together of our genes, then I really don't think that we can stop. Oh, one day, Matthew, we'll get there. One day we'll be out of a job.
No.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we'll still enjoy it too much. I think that's the point. Joyte, thank you so much for joining us today, and for everyone joining us at Cornwall Pride's bus tour, the Rainbowfest, and the cultural event in Truro as well, and Cornwall Pride Show today. Next week is Hate Crime Awareness Week, so we have lots of conversations happening across the week with lots more great guests, and we'll see you then. Thank you, Joyte.
Thank you so much, everybody. Lots of love. Thank you all.
Pudge, I think we're over to Pudge and Els.
We are here, matey. We are here. We won't keep you waiting any longer. We are here. We are ready. We've been watching the entire show.
I'm trying to work out what to say on the question for the nation. What was the question again?
Oh, so do you wash your legs? And your choices are: is letting soap run down them good enough? Is
it's yes or no. I think are the only really appropriate answers.
There's some weird ones in there.
Joyte, are you still with us?
I think we can hear Joyte.
I am, and I'm absolutely.
I love this.
I am going to leave now because.
No, Joyte. What's the answer? What's your answer? What do you think it is?
I'm going to leave.
Oh, brilliant.
I wash my legs. There we go.
Yeah, same.
Correct
very much
answer.
Same here, my friend. Same here. What a weird show we have sometimes.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed the Pride Show, both of you. It was absolutely lovely to watch and listen to.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much.